Thursday night football is finally here, and as crazy as it sounds, I don't think it's going to be nearly as ugly as last Thursday. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here, and we are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Thursday, October 13th slate of NFL action. I'm super excited to dive into it. We do have a game between my Chicago Bears taking on the Washington Commanders. Definitely going to be an ugly game, but as crazy as it sounds, I think it's going to be much more entertaining than the last Thursday game that we had, which was the Colts and the Broncos. And we'll go ahead and dive into it just a little bit. But basically, moral of the story is, last game, both defenses were very, very solid, which made the game boring, and both offenses were bad. In this game, for the Bears and Commanders, both defenses are atrocious, as well as their offenses. So I think it might actually be a little bit more entertaining than a lot of people will think. But before we go ahead and dive into it, I did just want to go ahead and say we are still currently on the road to 7,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, if we do end up hitting 7,000 subscribers by the time that the NBA season does start, which is going to be a week from today, actually, with the NBA season starting here just within about a week, definitely make sure that you guys do sub. If we end up hitting that 7,000 mark by that time, I will be doing a jersey giveaway. So any jersey in the NBA store that you guys want will be shipped right to your front door. So make sure that you guys do sub if you guys are new. But let's go ahead and dive into the plays. So we'll do a quick recap first, just because it is a little bit, we do need to do a recap from Mondays. Definitely wasn't great, but we'll go ahead and talk about it. We did have Davante Adams over 79.5 receiving yards versus the Chiefs. Really no sweat whatsoever. I think he almost doubled this number. I think he had 141 or something along those lines. Dude went absolutely ballistic. Then we had Juju over 4.5 completions versus the Raiders. I really did like this play, and if you take a look at the actual game itself, he saw the targets. He saw the targets. I think he had like 8 targets throughout the game. He only finished with 3 completions, and the amount of drops that he had in that game was absolutely insane. Like, I can't believe how many drops Juju truly had in that game. But, it is what it is. We ended up going 1-1 on our plays. We did have, for the leans, we had Chiefs -7. That one did not work out. And then we had the over 52, and that one actually did work out. So 1-1 on the leans as well. So pretty much just about as much of a wash of a day as it could have been. But let's go ahead and change that narrative. Let's go ahead and turn that back around. So for our first play of Thursday night football, we're taking Brian Robinson Jr. over 48.5 rushing yards here versus the Bears at -115 odds. Now, if you take a look, he didn't even come close last week. Only 22 yards. But that was his first game back from getting literally shot. So it was his first game back. I think that he is going to see much more of a workload here in the second game, and the books do as well. I mean, truthfully, he had 9 rush attempts, and he only saw 22 yards. So the fact that his line is all the way up to 48.5, that says a lot. And I truly do think that he does see quite a bit of touches for sure. He had an epic return last week. Obviously, if you guys saw, he came out to the song, and it was absolutely it was electric. It was completely electric. Just his first game back. Many Men was playing. It was a great time. It was absolutely fantastic. I think that he has a phenomenal week 2 here in his second game back. Also, the over-under is pretty low. It's set to 37.5 over-under. If you guys know me, anytime that the over-under is set low, I love the rush props. I love hammering the over and rush props, because a lot of times that means that they are going to be running the ball quite a bit. And I think that that is going to be the case here for the Commanders. This line has to be low for a reason, and I truly do think that it will be. Also, the Bears stink. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm like a huge Chicago fan just in general, but the Bears stink. They give up the most rushing attempts per game in the entire NFL. They gave up an astonishing amount of rush attempts, and they also give up the second most rushing yards per game as well. So they're an absolutely atrocious defense just in general, but they're even worse when it comes to just strictly rushing defense. So I do think that this does have a little bit of value here for Brian Robinson. I think that he is going to be kind of that main guy there in Washington when it comes to the running back position as well. So I really do like this play for our first play of the day. Brian Robinson Jr. over 48.5 rushing yards here versus Chicago at minus 115 odds. Now for our second play of the day, we're going to be taking Darnell Mooney over 19.5 yards for his longest reception at minus 115 odds. Now, if you take a look at Mooney's game log, he did have a really slow start to the year. Only 8 total yards in week 1, -4 yards in week 2. So yeah, me and you watching this video, we had more receiving yards than Darnell Mooney in week 2. But in week 3, he did end up having 23, so very slow start to the year. Those first 3 weeks, it definitely took some time for him to get used to. But then week 4 and 5, he really erupted. He had 4 receptions for 94 yards in week 4 with a huge reception of 56 yards. And in week 5, he had only 2 receptions, but he did combine for a total of 52 yards, with 39 yards being the longest pass. So he definitely had a very, very good week 4 and 5, and I think that that does continue here in week 6. The Bears have been passing, and actually a lot more recently than they started out the year. If you guys saw anything on like Twitter or SportsCenter or whatever you guys use for your sports stuff, Justin Fields only completed like I think he only threw the ball like 15 times in week 1, maybe. He had like a total of 8 completions in the first week. It was definitely atrocious. They never threw the ball. They literally ran it almost every single play, and it kind of stayed around that same mark for the first 3 weeks. However, in week 4 and 5, in week 4, they ended up passing the ball 22 times, which is a lot for Justin Fields. They haven't done that with him in a long time. And in week 5, he ended up having 21 passes. So they are starting to throw the ball a little bit more, and they use Darnell Mooney as a deep threat a lot. So if they are going to throw it to Mooney, a lot of times it's a deep ball. So I definitely think that they can go ahead and get that done. And Washington, they have given up at least 138 or more yard reception in every single game this year, which is absolutely crazy to me. I definitely think somebody on the Bears is going to get a pretty big reception. I just really don't know which one. So I went with Darnell Mooney. I think that he can get it done for us, no doubt. So that's going to be our second play of the day. Darnell Mooney over 19.5 for his longest reception at minus 115 odds. Now, you guys know me. I have to pick a side because it's just in my blood. I just have to pick a side. And we're riding with my home team, baby. Bears +1 here versus the Commanders at minus 115 odds. This pick is ugly. It's super, super ugly. This whole game's ugly. It's one of those ones you just literally plug your nose, you bet it, and you pray. Like, there's nothing good about it. This is definitely a homer pick. I am from Central Illinois. I love the Bears. So this is a homer pick, no doubt. If you guys don't want to tail this, please don't. But the Bears are 1-0-1 against the spread at home so far this year. So they technically haven't not covered at home so far this year. And Commanders, they are 0-2 against the spread on the road. So that's literally the only stat that makes me feel like semi-confident in this play. It's definitely a homer pick. If you guys did want to lean on a side as well, I actually kind of like the over in this game. I feel like a lot of the money is going to be on the under. I feel like it's a really good spot to buy in on the over. So that is going to be our third and final play of the day, though. Bears +1 here versus the Commanders at minus 115 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are still currently on the road to 7,000 subscribers, and we'll be doing a pretty big giveaway if we end up hitting that by the time that the NBA season does officially start. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Singer signing out. Peace.